So, guys, I watched Dune for the first time. I haven't seen the original either. Haven't read the book. I do own the book. I'm planning on reading that now, especially after seeing this film, because I had such a blast with this movie. Straight up, the direction is fantastic. The cinematography is incredible. The color grading, the set design, the special effects, everything, it's just incredibly well done in that it feels lived in. You know, you can see where Star Wars and a lot of other sci-fi properties got ideas from, as you know, the book came way before any of that. And you can see the impact that this story has had on a lot of creative people and filmmakers. And the casting is fantastic too. With Jason Momoa in the film, I was a little bit skeptical because I'm not massive on him at all. I always found him a little bit wooden, a little bit overrated. But Timothée Chalamet I thought was fantastic in the film. Zendaya doesn't really have much going on with her character in this one, but I assume that going into part 2 is going to play a more pivotal role. And I'm looking forward to watching that as well. It's quite long. It's quite drawn out. It's a slow burn, which is absolutely fine. It really does build on this world. Oscar Isaac as well was fantastic. Dave Bautista. There's just so many great people in this movie that just, you could tell they were all in on this. Everything from like the design of the ships and the worm, and everything was just so well thought out and well placed, and I just absolutely adored it. As a sci-fi fan, it ticked all the boxes for me. I can't believe it took me this long to watch this movie. Like, it took me some good time to actually even sit down and watch it. And I think I was hesitant because some sci-fi can be too complex for its own good, and it is quite hard to follow at times. It is, you know, you really have to pay attention to this film. It's not kind of a movie that you can just turn your brain off. This is a movie you have to have your brain on for. You have to, you know, be following the story, especially the first watch, to kind of understand the different kind of different nuances for each faction and what these people are trying to accomplish. And at the same time, you have so many different subplots going on with Timothée Chalamet's character, even, you know, the different struggles that he's having to go through. He's having these wild dreams. He's trying to come to terms with these powers that he's got from his mother's side, while also taking on the responsibility of his father's side. All of that leads to a real complex storyline amongst everything else that's actually happening in the story. But I just adored it. I thought the music was great, and it was just captivating visually, right? So you just can't take your eyes off the screen most of the time. Would I have liked it to have been a little bit shorter, perhaps, maybe? But from what I've heard from a lot of people, it really is one big story, and that part 2 plays a massive pivotal part of the story being told. So I think the pacing can frustrate people. I think it will put people off. In fact, I know it will put people off. There are a lot of people I know that love sci-fi movies, and they say this movie seems like the runtime is just too much, and that the film looks a little bit too much for them, which I kind of understand. You have different levels of complexity when it comes to this genre, and a lot of people like a simple story, and you can see why, you know, Star Wars kind of took so many details of this story and like kind of dumbed them down a little bit and made them kind of more digestible to swallow. You know, I feel like the Star Wars story as a whole can fit inside this one amongst many others. This has just so much going on that I think even on my next watch through might even uncover more and more. It's like this film has so many layers to it, which is pretty incredible. But yeah, I thought the cinematography was amazing. Some of my favorite shots are spread out throughout the movie, which goes to show like how good the cinematography is. When you see the Imperium arrive and they're coming down on their ships and they're about to attack, some great scenes there, some great battle scenes. I like the mechanics within the worlds, like the shield that they use in combat. was quite different. And obviously the worm and how people, you learn so many small things, like how people navigate through the desert. You learn how they do that and how they avoid the worm coming after them. But it's fun to see other people in the film not doing that, and you're reminded like they should be doing it, and you start to learn things in this lore that you really sort of latch onto, surprisingly, and you can see the mistakes that characters are making. And I just found that fascinating. Like, they've built this whole lore in the movie, and now they've done it in a way that doesn't feel like there's a ton of exposition as well. Because that was one problem. I think when the film first started and it explained spice, I was quite worried about a very heavy 3-hour exposition movie. But luckily, we don't get much of that. A lot of it is like you pick up along the way. And that initial spice exposition was very much needed for the movie to go forward. But for that reason, I'm going to give Dune 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. I think maybe a little bit long, convoluted, drawn out, a bit of a slow burn. Not always my favourite thing, but it sets stuff up going forward. So I can't wait to see what else we get in part 2 and part 3. I believe is out this year, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Now at this point, I hope part 2 lives up to the first one and that it can continue that momentum. But I'll come back to you when I've watched that, and I'll do a review for that as well. Guys, I'm also on TikTok, so if you want like shorter reviews, you can check me out there. I do 30-second reviews on TikTok, and I will be ranking sci-fi movies as well at some stage. And yeah, so if there's anything you want me to review as well, leave a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell to stay up to date with my reviews and videos here, and I'll see you with the next one. Take care of yourselves.